We are honored today to have a gentleman who, in addition to 13 years as the president of Lake Highland Preparatory School, educating our young people, and more than a decade as the president of a manufacturing company, has served as the naval officer for 26 years. With distinguished decorated service as commander of the USS Lockwood and later a Swift boat during the Vietnam conflict, our guest is a Purple Heart recipient for injuries that required 3 surgeries and many, many months of recuperation as a result of his service in Vietnam. I'm pleased to introduce to you our guest speaker for today, Captain Warren Hudson, United States Navy, retired. Captain Hudson.
I'm going to step up here because I think if I were down behind that podium, I'm so short you wouldn't see me, and I want to be able to see you. Thank you, Chuck Jordan, for that introduction. Thank you, Councilman Ivan Valdez, for inviting me to come and speak today to these veterans and our citizens of Maitland. And thanks to all of the community organizations here in Maitland that are honoring our veterans. I was so proud that we called out the names of those World War II veterans. I want to share a quick story with you. Somewhere in midlife, I told my parents, I said, I am so angry with you on the timing of my conception. I said, I missed the 2 great events of the 20th century. I was too young for World War II, and I was too old for the sexual revolution. And I said, I didn't fire a shot in either, and I'm really angry about this. I came up here with to stand beside you, Bandmaster Blaylock. You know, you look so good in your uniform, and Chaplain Love. You know, you guys are staying fit. People are saying, Warren, how can you get in your uniform after 21 years? Well, I'll tell you my secret. I've got the best seamstress in the world. My lovely wife, Claire, 44 years, can do magic, miracles, wonders. But she has told me, she said, I've taken that as far as I can. I've moved over the buttons. You're on your own, big boy. There's nothing else left. So I haven't been eating for about a month now. How many of you have heard the term Band of Brothers? I say a lot of you do, particularly those World War II. You probably associate it with the Band of Brothers, the name of the book by Stephen Ambrose, which was about a airborne company in the 101st Screaming Eagle Division during World War II. And then there was a PBS series called Band of Brothers that was based on Stephen Ambrose's book. But did you know that Stephen Ambrose plagiarized that name, Band of Brothers? He lifted that out of William Shakespeare, out of Shakespeare's play, Henry V. So let me tell you the background on it. First, let me set the scene for you. Henry V is King of England. It is 1415, and he is leading his army. They are ashore in France. They're cold, they're hungry, and they want to go home. And they're trying to get to a port to be picked up by the Royal Navy and returned to England. Now, this is October the 25th, 1415. It's the morning of the Battle of Agincourt, because when the sun came up, Henry V and his troops looked out and they saw a vastly superior French army that was blocking their way to the port, and there would be no choice except to fight them. So that's the situation, that's the scene. Henry V is making the rounds there on the eve of the battle, or excuse me, just before the battle began, and he hears his cousin Westmoreland say, now I need to back up and tell you that in England, October the 25th is St. Crispin Day, and it's a holiday. And Westmoreland says, but only if we had 10,000 men who do no work today in England. And Prince Hal hears him and chides him and says, if we are marked to die, we're enough to do our loss for our country. But if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's name I pray, wish not one more man. So he was chiding his cousin for wanting more men because he didn't want to share honor with anyone. And then he says, let the word go out throughout the army. If there's a man that does not have stomach for this fight, that we will make his passport, we will put gold coins in his purse for convoy back to England, because we would not want to die in the company of such men. And then he says, addressing his troops, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers, he that sheds his blood with me today will be my brother. These now he born so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England, in bed today, will think themselves accursed that they were not here with us, and will hold their manhoods cheap while any speaks who fought with us on St. Crispin's Day. That's we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. And even though we have veterans here that have fought in World War II, or the Korean War, or the Vietnam War, or Lebanon, or Grenada, or Panama, or Desert Storm, or the Balkans when we were involved in Bosnia and Kosovo, or Mogadishu, or in Afghanistan, or in Iraq, we're all a band of brothers and sisters because we were willing to shed blood with one another. And so we fit the definition of Henry V when he said, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. Well, I make this speech very short for you because I want to hear this band play. Bandmaster Blaylock, this fantastic band. I understand you're going to play a medley of service songs. I can't wait to hear it. Thank you all again for coming out and honoring all the veterans here in Maitland, and thank the city of Maitland for doing so.